Maseches Sotah Daf Daled. We begin with the beginning of the fourth parak at the bottom of Daf Chav Gimel, which begins with a list of halachos, mostly focusing on the balance between a woman losing her ksuba and refusing or not being able to drink the sotah water. So the halacha is, once a woman is obligated to bring the sotah water, generally she needs to drink the sotah water in order to prove her innocence and therefore be able to retain her ksuba. If for some reason she doesn't drink the sotah water, or she can't, she's going to lose her ksuba because she can't prove her innocence. The exception for that would be in circumstances where it's not her fault, she can't be expected, or there's no chazaka against her. So let's see the list of cases over here. We begin with an arusa and a shamarsi yavam. Those are two situations in which a woman is not fully married to her husband. Either they have eris and they're engaged, or she's had her own husband has died and she's falling to ibam but is not on ibam yet. In these two situations, she's not fully married. So there, the halacha is that she cannot drink the sotah water because it only works on a full husband. Like it says, Asher tiste isha tachas isha. It has to be that she's married, but they're not fully married. She's only a rus and a shemaras yavam. And therefore, she cannot drink the sotah water. However, still she does not get her ksuba. The sotah water doesn't work, but she loses her ksuba. And that's because it's her fault that she put herself in a situation where she's suspected of negative activities. Now, we have another halacha where she cannot drink the sotah water, and that's if he is not allowed to remain married to her. We have a limud from the psukim that it has to be ru'ui l'kaima. It has to be that he's allowed to remain married to her. So if they're married be'isser, the sotah water doesn't work. So that's an amana to a kohen, a gadol grusha of a chalutza to a kohen, hediyah, a mamzeres, and a sin to Yisrael, or bas Yisrael to a mamzer and a sin. All these, the sotah water doesn't work, so she can't drink. But again, she doesn't get her ksuba for the same reason, that it's her fault that she's in the situation that she is in. Now, the following are more people who cannot drink and don't get their ksuba. The Mishnah says, if she says tmeyani, that is, she admits, or you have witnesses that say that she is tmeya, or if she refuses to drink. Now, in those cases, she can't prove her innocence, and therefore she loses her ksuba. However, if the husband says, I'm not going to make her drink, or if the husband has to be with her on the way, there it's not her fault, and although she does not drink, she does get her ksuba. Now we have machlokes. What's the halacha if the husband dies before she got a chance to drink? She was on her way to drink, and now the husband is gone, he died. So here, Beis Shammai says she gets her ksuba, and she doesn't have to drink, because it's not her fault. But Beis Hillel says, no, she can still drink even though the husband had died, and therefore if she doesn't, she loses her ksuba. The Gemara will explain what this machlokes is about. Now, another situation is if the woman is pregnant or nursing a baby from a different husband when she gets to this husband, and now she's a sotah. Can he drink the sotah water or not? So he's not allowed to stay married to her. But on the other hand, once she finishes the nursing and the pregnancy, she can marry him. So she's allowed to stay married to him, just not right now. What's the halacha there? So Rabbi Meir says she cannot drink the sotah water, and therefore she doesn't get a ksuba. And the Chachamim say no, she can, and it's considered to be roy l'kaima. Next case is, what about a woman who cannot have children? An islandess, an older woman, or a woman that is just not fitting for children. So here you have a machlokes again, because the husband has a mitzvah of pru or ru. Can't stay married to her if he doesn't have children of his own. So according to the Tana Kama, she does not get her ksuba, and she doesn't drink the sotah water, because again, he can't stay married to her. Rav Elazar, though, says he could stay married to her and just marry another woman and fulfill the mitzvah of pru or ru that way. Therefore, she is considered to be roy l'kaima. Now, all other situations, they either drink the sotah water or they don't get a ksuba. It's one or the other. Now, the Mishnah says a few halachas that the Gemara will have to explain what the chiddush is. The wife of a kohen drinks the sotah water and then becomes permitted to her husband. Wife of a sris drinks the sotah water and then becomes permitted to her husband. Now, if the man that she was secluded with is in erva to her, forbidden marriage, you do continue, you do have the sotah procedure, unless he's a katan. If he's a child, then it doesn't count. Also, someone who's not a man. The Gemara will explain what that means. Now, what if the husband is not there to do kinei, to do the warning? So in certain situations, the Beis Din will do it for him. And that's if he's lost his sensibilities, he was in the scharish, or he's in the shtate, or if he's locked in prison, In all these situations, the Beis will do the kinoi itself. Now, this kinoi is not enough to make her drink the sotah water because that can only be done by the husband. But here it does help at least to take the ksuba away. And Rabbi Yossi says that it could even help for the sotah water drinking, and that's when the husband becomes available, he's released from prison or becomes functional, then he can take that previous kinoi and stira and use it to make a drink the sotah water. The Gemara now begins, and the Gemara focuses on the Arusa and the Shomeres Yavam, that they are excluded from the parsha of drinking the sotah water. So the Gemara's first point is that they still have kinoi. They can still be warned, and that warning will apply if they later go ahead and complete the marriage. How do you know that that warning still can be made even when they're not fully married? They're just an Arusa or a Shomeres Yavam. That's because it says Dabra b'nei Yisrael v'amarta, the extra expression to include an Arusa and a Shomeres Yavam. Now, our Mishnah had said that both the Arusa and the Shomeres Yavam do not have sotah water. Says the Gemara, that is the opinion of Rabbi Yonasan. And Rabbi Yonasan argues on Rabbi Yeshaya. Rabbi Yeshaya says that a Arusa is excluded, but a Shomeres Yavam is included. And where does he see that? So the pasuk of Tachas Ishech says it has to be an Ishech that excludes an Arusa. However, Shomeres Yavam you would exclude as well, and on that it says ish. So Arusa is out, Shomeres Yavam is in. That's Rabbi Shai's opinion, which does not fit in our Mishnah. Rabbi Yonasan, who the Gemara wants to say is our Mishnah, fits because he has Tachas Ishech and says that refers to a Shomeres Yavam, not to an Arusa. If so, what is the status of an Arusa? So if a Shomeres Yavam is included, Arusa for sure has to be, and therefore you learn it from that which it says Asher Tiste Isha Tachas Isha. That is to exclude an Arusa. So because the Shomeres Yavam is out and Arusa has to be out. So you see that they have a machokes, which one is more likely to be out of the parsha? Which one is more likely to not be nogea to the entire sugya of sotah? So according to Rabbi Yeshaya, the Arusa is out and the Yavama is in. And the reason is because the Shomeres Yavam is lacking only chuppah. Is not lacking chuppah. She doesn't need chuppah. However, an Arusa is lacking chuppah, and therefore she's further away. According to Rabbi Yeshaya, it's the opposite. The Arusa is more likely to be in, and that's because she has his kedushin, and she has misa through somebody who is mizana with her. Shomeres Yavam does not have that, and therefore the Arusa is more likely to have the sotah parsha apply to them. So now we're going to ask what are you going to do with a parsha of ish, which Rabbi Yeshaya had used to exclude Shomeres Yavam. So the Gemara says that's to include the pasuk of Cheresh, the wife of a Cheresh, the wife of a Shotah, and the wife of a Sha'amum, which is somebody who is Rashi defines as being struck with confusion of the heart. So now the Gemara asks, what does Rabbi Yeshaya do with a pasuk of Tachas Isha, which Rabbi Yonasan had used to include an Arusa? So the Gemara says that's for the hekesh between a man and a woman, Isha Ish, which comes up later in the Perek. We'll see it then. It links Ish Isha and Isha Ish. So now the Gemara asks that the reason is that you have these psukim. If you would not have these psukim to teach that the Arusa and the Shomeres Yavam are in or out, you would not have known what the halacha is. The Gemara has a kasha, because you should know the halacha based on something else. Because when Rav Acha Bar Chanina came from the south, he brought with him a brisa where it says that the Kohen says to her that no one was had bia with her mi balade yishech except for your husband, which shows that she must have already had bia with her husband. Otherwise, the sotah water is not going to work. So the problem is that Arusa and a Shomeres Yavam have not had bia with their husband. So why are we even discussing if they're in or out? They should be excluded from that factor. So in that, Rami Bar Chama says it is possible. Talking about a Shomeres Yavam and Arusa who had bia, even though it's forbidden for them, they had it as well. So the Gemara says that makes sense for an Arusa, where the husband could have had bia with her, even though it was Aser. But a Shomeres Yavam, it's not possible because as soon as the bia happens, that counts as ibum, even if the bia was done by Isser. There's no such thing as a Shomeres Yavam who had bia already. Once the bia is had, she's not a Shomeres Yavam anymore. So where it says that is true according to Rav, but Shmuel disagrees, and Shmuel holds no, that it is possible, and she does not become a full-fledged wife yet. She's only a wife in the case of such a bia which should not have been done. She's only a wife as far as the halacha specific to yibum, but as far as being a full-fledged wife, that and its other halachas, that it doesn't happen yet. So the Gemara says, so then if that's so then it comes out that there's a parallel between Rav and Shmuel and Rav Yeshaya and Rav Yonasan as to what is the status of a general Shomeres Yavam, because Rav seems to say like Rav Yeshaya that a Shomeres Yavam should be different than an Arusa, and Shmuel, who seems to be saying that they both work, that would be like Rav Yonasan. So the Gemara says, no, not necessarily. Rav, they could each fit. Because Rav says, I fit even according to Rav Yonasan. Why? From the fact that you need a pasuk to teach me that the halacha is different, you see that she is a full-fledged wife. Rav is holding that by having the bia, she is a full-fledged wife, and you need to have the pasuk to show me the difference there. And Shmuel says, I fit even according to Rav Yeshaya. Again, because you need the pasuk to tell me that she's not a full-fledged wife. That means that generally she would be a full-fledged wife, and that is the halacha.